So the following video is what was supposed to be the October and November mixed box monthly video from Stewart Brewing. However, as it is now March, you may have noticed I've lost the enthusiasm to do said videos, mainly because doing them every month was somewhat excessive, both financially and in terms of how much drinking I was doing. So I've knocked them on the head, hence why the video is called Mixed Box Musings. So if I do any more mixed box review videos, they will not be monthly, they'll be as and when, and musings sort of kept that nice sort of alliteration flow. So yes, enjoy the video and I'll catch up with you at the end as we do a final look at this big beer, a 9.1% Imperial. Hello and welcome to the October Mixed Box Monthly. This month we're returning back to Bonnie, Scotland, and we are visiting Stewart Brewing, who are based near Edinburgh. I think they're sort of in between Edinburgh and the coast. Yes, I went to the St Albans Beer Festival a couple of weeks ago, and one of the top beers I had there was Sauv the Day, S-A-U-V apostrophe the day. Which was a Nelson Sauvignon single hopped beer, and it was in fact one of my beers of the festival. That and a beer from Winton Brewery called Peely Wally. That's very good as well. But yes, I checked Stewart Brewing, and they did quite an extensive mixed case. Hence why I'm splitting the video into October Mixed Box Monthly and November Mixed Box Monthly, just because I've got so many beers from them that it made sense to mix them across the 2 months. Yes, I did buy quite a few. They've got a sort of more traditional range, they've got a craftier range, a few one-offs. So yes, I do have Sauv the Day to try as well. I brought a big 5-litre tin of that, which my friend and I, who didn't try that beer, but absolutely loves Nelson, I've decided to get a tin, so we'll share that tomorrow. He loves Nelson, that's very good. I'll do a review of it when I drink it tomorrow, but for now I thought I'll start on a very Scottish beer indeed, Stewart's 80 shilling. Classic Scottish heavy at 4.4%. Very nice artwork, colourful, full flavoured, no it's not, it's, well it probably is as well, but full bodied and flavoured Auburn classic Scottish heavy with malt and dried fruit on the nose and a smooth creamy texture. Edinburgh's original craft brewery, Stewart Brewing, have been innovating and brewing great beers since 2004. Lonehead, EH29LZ. So, das ist einen Beeren. It didn't say it was bottle conditioned, but there is a lot of crap floating around in that. A lot of crap. Other than that, it's a beautiful colour. I wonder if it was like one of the last bottles of the bottling line. I've got 2 bottles of this, so it'll be interesting to see if the other one is as flaky. Nice sort of off creamy head sort of thing. So lovely colour apart from the crap floating around. You can see that, can't you? Yes. Oh, chin chin. Slightly burnt toffee sort of flavour. Fruitcake, definitely. Yeah, raisins, plums. A nice sort of buttery fruitcake base. It's quite light as well. Some of these sort of old style fruitcakey beers have quite a depth of flavour. This doesn't quite have that. But it's a very pleasant, very easy drinking drink. Apart from the shit floating around, it's very tasty. As I said, light fruitcake notes, plums, raisins, maltiness, slight burnt toffee flavours. Pleasant. Same about the clarity. Well, not all the clarity's fine, it's just the crap. Interesting start. I'll be curious to see if the second bottle of this is as particulated. Yes, there we go. So next up quickly we have Sour of the Day, which is 4.5%, Nelson Sauvignon single hopped hazy pale. This was my beer of the festival at St Albans Beer Festival. I was a little bit worried that it wouldn't quite be as good. I'm having this off a 5-litre mini tin, so 9 pints, which I'm sharing with a friend, so I'm not being greedy guts. But yeah, single hop with Nelson Sauvignon, which is now a very increasingly popular hop. Sort of like, you know, like half the hoppy IPA beers you find usually have Nelson in, and probably Citra. But yeah, this is a single hop variety beer. They've done it so well, so well. You get that passion fruit, slightly gooseberry, sort of winey note to it, you know, white grape. Really fruity, dank bitterness, lovely sweetness. It is a great, great beer. Great, great hop. No, I rate that very highly indeed. So yes, that is Sour of the Day, 4.5%, Nelson Sauvignon, single hopped hazy beer. £29.90 for a 5-litre tin, which isn't bad. So yeah, cheers. Up next is Citrus Blonde, a 4.5% session pale. It says, big refreshing citrus flavours of grapefruit, lemon and lime are at the fore, rounded off with tropical and floral notes. Citra Blonde has a light malt character and asserted bitterness, which allows the Citra hop character to shine. Unfiltered, unpasteurised. There we go. And there's the beer. Quite a haze to it. I think that's chill haze or something similar to that, condensation, mixture of the two. Very citrusy on the nose, as one would expect. Actually had a bit of a head earlier, but that sort of died down, but it's lingering. Dive in, chin chin. Oh, that's nice and pleasant. It's nice, nice beer. It says what it says on the tin really. It's sort of citrusy, grapefruit, zesty notes, orange. Very smooth. Sort of a fruity citrusiness, but there is a bold bitterness, I'd say. You can tell it's got a bit of finish to it. Let's say that citrusy bitterness, bitty bitterness. But yes, it's probably probably be quite nice and cask actually. Sort of a summer garden, sit down, relax and enjoy sort of beer. Holyrood Pale Ale next at 5%. It is an easy drinking pale ale packed full of American hops, providing a tangy citrus aroma and flavour with a moderate bitterness and flavour. There you go. Very colourful artwork of theirs. It's nothing in particular, but it's pretty, isn't it? Here's 5%, here we go. Slightly more malty on the nose than the previous one, which was Citra Blonde. A nice creamy maltiness there. Definitely not as citrusy as the previous one. It's slightly earthy bitterness. It's quite lager-like grassiness. A little bit of tropical fruit, I thought, but has got that sort of grassy bitterness you get from a lager, combined with a slightly bready maltiness. But then there's a sort of extra hoppiness there as well. It's quite a pleasant one. It's different. Yeah, trying to get the thought of a hoppy lager out of my mind though for this one. It does share a lot of those sort of characteristics. But yeah, nice pale ale. Moving on to our first canned beer, we have Raspberry Porridge and Honey Oat Pale, coming in at 4.8%. You can see there it's a collaboration, part of the Project 7 series. It says on the back here, Project 7 is our range of limited edition beers exploring exciting and innovative styles. It says here as well, brewed in collaboration with our friends and neighbours at Stewart, we have recreated their iconic raspberry and honey porridge oat bar in beer form. An oat cream pale brewed with freeze-dried raspberries gives the beer a refreshing, bittersweet flavour and a beautiful pink hue. Stewart Brewing and Stewart have much more than just their location in common. Both companies are independently owned, passionate about great tasting products and committed to sustainability, reducing our environmental footprint on the journey to net zero. There you go. So obviously Stokes make bars, so they're quite tasty actually, don't they? And that's the beer. I'll say it looks like a raspberry wheat beer sort of thing, doesn't it? Very hazy. Interesting nose actually. Certainly grainy and oaty. Let's dive in. Chin chin. Well, that's very nice, that. Yes. Funnily enough, it reminds me of this pipe tobacco called Bagpiper's Dream, as you can see there. Yeah, funny that. That's an aromatic. But yeah, it's got nice creamy notes to it. The raspberry's very fresh. Not much tartness going on. That is really pleasant. Yeah, smooth. Really mellow. Lots of sort of oaty, grainy flavours. Malty flavours. Very subtle raspberry. But it's very fruity though. But it's sort of subtle fruitiness. No, it's not. It's not very fruity beer. I like that one. I like that one a lot. It's very smooth, very easy to drink. Tiki Shake is up next, a milkshake IPA. I do enjoy a milkshake IPA. 6.5%, so on to one of the stronger beers. It says here, a blend of UK and New World hops bring vibrant flavours of mango, passion fruit and grapefruit to this brew, enhanced by the addition of Kvike yeast, smooth, creamy and subtly sweet. There we go. Lovely Tiki Shake. There we go. Hazy, orangey, yummy. Yeah. Gone up my nosy. Chin chin. Sweet and fruity. Yes. Reminds me of like a mango sorbet sort of thing, you know. A lot of sweet, creamy flavours. And yeah, those tropical fruit notes are really quite prominent. As it says in the can, you've got mango, you've got passion fruit. What was the other one they said? Grapefruit. Yes, yes, there is that sort of bitter grapefruitiness. That is nice. Probably couldn't have more than one at a time though, because it is quite sweet, as you would expect. But yes, it's really fruity, and yes, it certainly is a milkshake IPA. Good sweetness, good fruitiness. There is a nice sort of citrusy grapefruit bitterness as well, which sort of helps balance it out. But it's still a very sweet beer. But I expected that because of what beer style it is. Yeah, sweet, fruity, creamy, and nice. Yum yum. St Giles is up next. It is a 5% Scotch ale. It says here, a robust backbone of Scottish malt gives rise to distinct coffee, chocolate and nutty flavours. There we go, St Giles. That is the beer there. So lovely sort of dark ruby red amber colour. Again though, there is a lot of crap floating around in there. A lot of crap. Anyway. Okay, beer itself. Yeah, very malty. Sort of raisin, fruitcake sort of flavours. Slight sort of burnt caramelisation. A little bit of roasted bitterness you could consume as coffee flavours. Chocolate notes, yeah. Sort of. There's a lot of crap there. Right. Got the shits tonight. Yeah, it's nice, it's malty. I'd enjoy some more if it being a little less debris floating around in it. But other than that, it's a very solid beer. Yeah, it's tasty, but it's just let down by the crap in the bottom. New Relic, a Mosaic IPA, coming in at 5.6%. A full flavoured IPA showcasing the trademark stone fruit and blueberry flavours of Mosaic hop. There we go. Nice and clear. It's obviously got a bit of chill haze, but it's lovely and clear. Lovely sort of golden yellow colour. Definitely Mosaic on the nose. Yeah, definitely. Let's dive in. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, that sort of pineapple fruitiness is there. So Mosaic's always a great pairing with Citra. I'm guessing this is a single hop. But yeah, it's very pleasant on its own as well. Nice, good bit of bitterness there as well. I never thought of Mosaic as being particularly blueberry-ish, but now that I mention it, although I was always told when beer tasting never to read descriptions because words influence your flavour profile. So now that I've read blueberry, I'll find blueberry. But if I had read something else like light cheese, I would have found light cheese, for example. You know, it's your taste buds are influenced by what you read. Yes, that's a very tasty single hop mosaic beer. Very flavourful. Radical Road West Coast IPA, coming in at 6.4%. It says here, our multi-award winning West Coast IPA. Expect bittersweet orange, tangy grapefruit and pine to dominate this liberally hopped IPA. Ooh. I do like a West Coast. Now, West Coast IPAs, I never used to like them, so I always found them too bitter and too heavy, too dank, you know, that sort of thing. They were very, very aggressive. But with the influx of really sort of soft-fruited, hazy pales, sometimes you need a good West Coast IPA to remind you about hoppiness, because you get a little bit worn down by the constant soft fruit, peachy pale ales, you know. Get something to kick in the balls. So here we go, here's a kick in the balls, hopefully. Oh, that's good. You've got sort of resin piney notes, definitely. A good bitterness. Not too bitter, but it's a good bitterness. I would probably prefer it a little bit more, but I'm not complaining, but it's on the lower side of a West Coast, I think. We're not saying, wow, that's unfair. It's got a good bitterness to it, but more bitterness would not have been unwelcome. That's probably the best way of putting it. No, I'm enjoying that. That's a very nice one. There's a good maltiness there as well, actually, which is balancing that sort of dank, piney, resiny flavour. Bit of grapefruit, yes. Bit of malty creaminess. That's a good one, actually. It's a gentler West Coast IPA, and one which I'm enjoying. So another Westie up next. This one is a slightly lower ABV at 5.4 called Pacific Breeze. It says here, rife with grapefruit, citrus and tropical fruit aromas and flavours. Medium bodied with subtle hints of caramel and a tongue tingling bitterness and a crisp finish. There we go, Pacific Breeze 5.4. Is the beer. Also slightly thinner mouthfeel, but it's barely noticeable. I think this was coming across ever so slightly more bitter than the previous one. Those dank, sort of resiny, piney notes are a little bit more intense, a bit stronger. And there's less of a sweet, fruity, less of a creamy maltiness there as well. That's very interesting, actually. I don't know which one I prefer. They are very similar, but I think what's the previous one called? Radical Road. I think probably that because of the slight stronger strength. Beer. I think the beer's getting to me a bit because of the slight stronger strength of the previous one. Obviously, there's a little bit more malty sweetness there, and I think that just toned down the hops a little bit. With this one, there's probably less of that malty sweetness because I'm not getting any particularly malty flavours through. Which means I think that the hops are amplified a bit more. There we go. It's my theory and I'm sticking to it. Hazy IPA is up next at 5%. Carrying a slight bitterness, this juicy IPA has strong hints of both citrus and tropical fruits with a soft finish. Do wish they'd put what hops they use. Anyway, here we go. Hazy-ish, I suppose. Let's dive in, chin chin. Oh, that's interesting. I reckon Sabro or Talus is in this. It has that sort of coconutty creaminess. A slight liminess as well, I think. Yeah, this has definitely got either Sabro or Talus in it. Well, I think so anyway. It's those sorts of flavours, you know. That really sort of creamy coconut sort of hoppiness. Zesty sort of lemony lime. That is actually really very nice. It's fruity. It's pleasant. It's easy to drink. A good bitterness there. Lots of interesting flavours going on. Yes, that is very good. I think it's probably the best one of the night. Blood Orange Hazy Pale up next. You can see they're rather a ghoulish label. It's a collab with Edinburgh Dungeon. 7.7, 4.6%. What does it say about this? Brewed in collaboration with our friends at the Edinburgh Dungeon, a soft, juicy and easy drinking hazy IPA that brings the refreshing and vibrant flavour of blood orange to the forefront. Balanced with a low bitterness and tropical fruit character from Citra, Jester and Mandarina Bavaria hops. There we go. Let's dive in. Orangey on the nose. Orangey on the taste as well. It's a very fresh, very zesty, orangey beer. Quite a juiciness to it. Bit of citrusy bitterness, but not much. Yeah, there's not much more to say about it, but it's orangey. It's nice. It's orangey. There we go. Edinburgh Gold up next, a 4.8% golden ale. See, lovely colour there. It says here, Edinburgh Gold pours deep gold with a white head, beautifully balanced with a delicate hop aroma, subtle malty sweetness and a crisp finish. There we go. Yeah, that's very nice. Sort of a bready, cereal, sort of grainy malt base to it. And then some very traditional hoppiness, sort of like earthy, slightly floral. Nice malty sweetness. Good traditional style hoppy bitterness. That's very solid actually. That's very solid. one you can sort of easily sit back, relax, and enjoy. So yeah. We have an alcohol-free pale ale next called Stewart's AF. 0.5%. Malted barley, wheat, hops, oats and rye. Stewart's alcohol-free pale ale embraces all the characters of citrus, piney and resinous American hops. Further citrus notes comes from the addition of lime, balanced with the finesse of Scottish malts. This brew is a testament to an alcohol-free, uncompromised craft taste. There we go. Always on the hunt for a good alcohol-free beer. That could be one of the nicest ones I've had, I think. So, yeah, it's obviously very thin, but you know, it's alcohol-free beer. It has that quite sweet, wort-y sort of malt flavour, but it's hidden very well behind a lovely, fruity, citrusy hoppiness. Quite a sort of resininess there as well. That's actually very pleasing for an alcohol-free beer. So the alcohol-free beer I rate highest, which I've had so far, is the Brewdog Punk AF, and they did one called Hazy AF, which was very good as well. They were two of the best ones I've had. But this might be better. I'd have to do a side by side, but yeah, that is a very good low alcohol-free beer. It does taste like you're having a beer. Yeah, no, very well done. Moving on to their 4% lager next. It says here, a crisp, dry and refreshingly classic lager with an earthy citrus character from the Noble Sars hops. There we go. Looks suitably lager-like. Good crisp dryness there. Yeah, crisp and dry. Sort of nice grassy hoppiness. Yeah, a little bit of citrusiness, not much though. I suppose a little bit. But yeah, mainly grassy. And I don't know, a bit lime perhaps. There's a little bit of citrusiness there. And a bready, doughy, malty base. It's an alright lager. You know, that's tasty. Nearly gone as well. Gardener's Brew up next. Quite an interesting one, a 4.5% golden ale. It says here, exclusively crafted for the Royal Botanic Garden of Edinburgh. This botanically infused beer showcases elements from our kitchen garden: marigold, coriander and pine needles. Taste nature's finest in every sip. Experience botanical bliss only with Gardener's Brew. Very interesting. That is an unusual nose as well. Marigold. You smell of coriander and creaminess. Do I get pine? Probably. There we go. Right, let's dive into this unusual sounding beer. Now, I'm no stranger to group ales or pine needle beers or things like that. I have had a pine needle sour, which is very interesting, and a few other weird infused things. This is very unusual, but it's very tasty. It's easy. Some of the other well, Groot style beers, for want of a better word. I suppose the Groot style beer is sour though, isn't it? Infused beers. Previous ones have been a bit harsh one way or the other. This is fairly mellow and easy to approach. So they've got a very creamy base, very creamy. The cardamom they put in? Coriander, yeah, that's it. The coriander is very much there. It's that sort of floral, soapy note. A lot of people don't like coriander. I love it, so that's alright. I had coriander in my burgers tonight, for example. Homemade burgers. Haggis burgers, in fact. I'm getting a bit of pininess as well. Yes, I am. You know, you get like furniture polish or air freshener, which is that pine scent. Imagine that as a flavour, and you got a bit of that in there. It's interesting. I don't hate it. Not really a style I'd go for. I prefer sort of straight up beers rather than infused with unusual bits of vegetation. Oh, quite a nice aroma. It's different, it's not unpleasant, fairly mellow. If you don't like coriander, don't go anywhere near it. Oh, it's alright. Session IPA is up next, a juicy session IPA at 4.1%. Brimming with tropical and citrus fruit flavours from the generous dry hop. The session IPA is soft, juicy and unfiltered, which makes for a full flavoured, easy drinking beer. There we go. So a juicy sort of nose to it. Let's dive in. Got a good bitterness to it. Very clean at the front, and then there's a bit of grapefruit pithy bitterness, some slightly fruitier tropical notes to it as well. Oh, a good bitterness there. And again, very clean. That's very nice. You could session on that quite happily, actually. Probably in the summer a bit more than a bleak midwinter. Midwinter now. Well, it's not midwinter yet, but or is it midwinter? I don't know. There's some very interesting, complex hoppy flavours there. And yeah, good beer. First world problems now, a 6.2 Belgian IPA. Assertive bitterness from the New World hops, from subtle fruity esters from the Belgian yeast, all beautifully balanced with the addition of malted rye. Malted rye obviously giving that slightly spicy flavour, and you tend to get some spiciness from the Belgian yeast as well. So darker than the previous ones we've had, a sort of amber orangey colour. Dive in. I think it's probably one of the first Belgian IPAs I've had. Not a style I've come across very often. A good malty base. Getting that slightly peppery, spicy note from the rye. Not getting as many of the Belgian esters as I was expecting. I had a bottle of that Le Chauffe the other day. That was very Belgian yeasty esters is less so. Really, it's that sort of spicy rye malt, which is very bold. I expect those yeasty esters are complementing the rye malt, perhaps. I suppose there's some sort of ever so slightly bubblegummy banana flavour to it as well. And a bit of a bitterness at the back end. It's alright. It's different, wasn't quite what I was expecting. Well, I say that, but it's got a spiciness of the rye, which I was expecting. Has got some yeasty esters, but I was probably expecting a bit more. And a good whack of bitterness. Yeah, nice enough. So that was the October and November mixed box monthly video. Yes, apologies it's late, but I completely lost enthusiasm for doing the videos. Both in the time it takes to do the actual recording, the editing, the financial outlay each month to buy a 60-70 pound case of beer, and the fact that drinking that much beer every month is probably not very good for you. So I decided to knock it on the head and carry on the series as Mixed Box Musings. So we have the alliteration continue. But yes, I won't be doing it monthly. I'll be doing it as and when I feel like it. So, you know, I might do 2 or 3 a year, who knows. I won't not do them at all ever again, but I certainly won't be doing them monthly anymore. So yes, let's move on to the final beer then. It is this chocolate and hazelnut barrel-aged stout, coming in at 9.1%. Gianduga. I really did not pronounce that as it should be. Nice wax sealed beer. A rich and decadent barrel-aged stout with layers of rich chocolate, hazelnut and vanilla, aged for 6 months in a specially selected refill bourbon barrel, which adds rich tobacco and leathery notes to the beer, along with the trademark toffee and vanilla flavours. So there we go. And there, whoops, is the beer. So rich and dark, beige off-white head. Let's dive in. Chocolate, nutty and vanilla notes. It's not as thick as a beer you'd expect at this ABV, being an Imperial. It's quite, I wouldn't say it's thin, but it's not sort of as viscous, not the right word. Oh well. It's not as thick as I thought it would be. Flavour-wise though, there's a lot going on there. It's very interesting. It has got a chocolatey, malty, sort of slightly roasted background to it. It's got some good nuttiness to it. Some sort of woody, aged notes as well. And yeah, a nice sort of sweet bit of vanilla. It's a very well balanced beer actually. It has so a lot of sort of sweet notes from the vanilla and the chocolate, but it has a sort of natural bitterness, which sort of roasted bitterness, which tones it all down to sort of balance it out quite nicely. That's very nice. Really, that's a sharing bottle. However, it's only my dad and I at home at the moment, and he doesn't really like stouts, so I'll have to have the whole thing to myself. What a shame. Anyway, from this, the last Mixed Box Monthly and the first Mixed Box Musings video, thank you for watching. I know it's been a hefty one because the original intention was to split it into October and November. However, I just wanted to get the footage off my iPad, get it up so I can start afresh with this whole Mixed Box Musings idea, where I do it as and when I want to, rather than be tied down to having to do a Mixed Box review video every month. So there we go then. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time. Au revoir.